Hey Taurus, it's Empress Rose here and welcome to your reading. As you probably know already, these readings are coming out a little slower than normal. And I don't know how long that'll go on, but my schedule went a little bonkers recently, so that's the way it is. We're going to start with the Oracle decks, Work Your Light and Urban Crow, and then we'll move to a more traditional tarot spread with the Tarot of Mystical Moments. And if you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button because it makes me happy and it also helps other people find these messages. And these are general messages, so we take what works, leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. Nope, we're going to keep that one and leave these. And if I don't catch your storyline or wavelength on this one, go check other major placements. All right, what do we have here? Lots of bashing and crashing and banging, apparently. All right. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I like this. Starseed, what lights you up? I'm just thinking about, you know, the things that help us come to life, bring us to life, the things that make us happy. What are we dreaming of? Thinking about that, thinking about our visions, our dreams, what we long for, what we're hoping for. She's just sort of resting here, dreaming, daydreaming about distant lands and where she wants to go and what brings her joy. Thinking about moving towards those, that movement towards that. So Starseed, what lights you up? And then I love this one, Dance with Life. Do something to change your energy. So much like, you know, just some casual dancing around the kitchen can turn your whole day around. This is something about changing your energy. You can change your energy in multiple ways, either by doing something physical. It's a little different for you, out of the norm, breaking up your workout if you work out, or if you don't work out, working out, or doing something a little different there. Physically, dancing clearly is what this is encouraging. We can also change our energy through breath work, and we can also change our energy through working with our thoughts and shifting thoughts and finding new thoughts to have, that new thoughts that bring us joy and make us happy. What lights us up? Thinking about those things, imagining those things, and allowing ourselves to really flow with those things and dance with those things. A possibility. I love Dance with Life too. Because it seems to me that's what we're doing when we have these desires, these things that light us up, these things that bring us to life. And we almost like propose that to life, and then life responds with reality. And it's sort of a dance of this is what I want. This is what I can offer. This is what I want. This is what I can offer. And there's sort of a dance going on there between the two things, between reality and our visions and our dreams and what makes us happy. So this is do something to change your energy up. So take a step outside your norm just for fun, just for a change of scenery, a change of energy. I also like this one. Insight. It's about figuring things out. It's about being clever. It's about learning how to do things, learning how to work with something, maybe even learning how to work with an energy. There's something about, what is this story here? This crow is filling up a jar. Crows make tools and learn from each action. They're problem solvers. In this illustration, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. After testing a couple of rocks, the crow began to understand the relationship between the stones and the water displacement. It learned with each rock what the water would rise, and as a result, the buoyant shrimp would rise too. Insight asks that you take the time to examine your situation, test out different strategies to gain wisdom. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you will be able to move any obstacles that have been in your way. Well, I don't know that we can ever really understand the relationship between all contributing factors, because there's a lot outside of that. But insight is about learning, is about innovation and learning. And in some way, I think this is do something to change your energy, doing something different, coming up with some sort of innovation, some sort of a different way of looking at a situation, a different way of problem solving. I mean, this has like a lot of observation to it and a lot of experimentation. And this Dance with Life seems to me to be very directly referencing experimentation and playing around, goofing around. You know, this crow, when he first started putting rocks in this, what was he thinking? Was he just goofing around, just enjoying the plinking sound or something, and then discovered that this was actually like a key to tapping into some resources? So learning, explore, it talks to me about the connection between exploring things and learning. And this Dance with Life talks about exploration to me. Then we have two really interesting cards that came out together. We have Break the Chain and Dominance. So dominance to me is about, it's about pecking order. It's about who's in charge, who has control. To me, it raises the same questions as the Emperor card might, of like, who's in control? Are you voluntarily making yourself less than somebody and submitting when maybe you don't need to, or you shouldn't even be if your ideas are better? Or are you forcing submission? You know, there is a sense of like, this is the way of things. Someone has to lead and someone has to follow. Especially I was thinking about getting this with the dance with life, is someone's leading and someone's following all the time, right? So are you leading life with your desires, with your dreams? Are you following life with more realistic? And I think it can go back and forth with you know, what you see as possible versus what you dream as possible. So there's also like a pecking order, a dominance, and a submission. So there's some sort of control issue at hand here that's being raised by whatever situation you're in. You may need to experiment and play around to figure out a way towards equality, or you can accept that in this situation there's going to be a pecking order. And then we have Break the Chain, though. What I'm seeing, though, is not accepting that, because I'm seeing the Break the Chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So something from your past, some way that things have always been done, possibly in your family, possibly just in our culture, this way that things have always been done, and breaking away from that. So it seems like maybe being under some thumb of some sort, or being trapped in a relationship in which dominance and control is a theme. Or maybe that's just a theme of relating that someone, possibly you, has within your life of someone's in charge here, someone's in control, am I in control? And thinking about control issues. So this is breaking the chain, healing from that, healing from things from the past. I like the idea that when we heal, you know, we can heal. I don't quite understand the dynamics of it, but I think it feels right, feels good. When we heal ourselves, we're healing our history. We're healing, you know, the history that brought us here. So in a way, I think that's important to know. And then going towards the future, rewriting the future. We don't have to stay in these patterns. We don't have to stay in these patterns of control, of dominance, or even the patterns of thinking about who's in control, or having that be, you know, always a part of our dynamics and a part of our relationships. So break the chain, healing, rewriting the future. So, but this is going to take, I think, innovation, and it's going to take, you know, that innovation, that experimentation, and that learning, that insight, understanding all the components involved here. You know, maybe even the history of a situation, maybe even the family history of a situation, and understanding all of that. As you experiment and you explore around, you may discover things. This reminds me of when you go, you know, down the little rabbit hole of an ancestry.com, and you might find things out about your family or your history that suddenly explain everything. Like, oh, that's why they were like that, and they were like that, and oh, that's why I learned to do that way, and not the way, you know, so-and-so learned how to do it because of this history. So it just reminds me of like that exploration and stumbling across interesting puzzle pieces that you weren't expecting at all. That's not why you did what you did, but this dancing, this playing, this breaking of the energy, I wouldn't be surprised if it brought you into some sort of, this experimentation and this play brought you into some sort of very useful understanding of an issue that's faced you historically, or your family historically, and helped you learn from that or emerge from that with more insight and more intention. So I think this is like really a rabbit hole that you're allowed to go down that makes you happy and interests you and intrigues you, and maybe not what you usually do. All right, Taurus, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's the issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. It's all look very familiar. I feel like I've done this reading before. All right, we have in your recent past, King of Cups. So this could be a person, male or female, or an energy from your recent past. Emotional maturity, a lot of depth, a lot going on, a lot of deep feelings here, but being able to really ride it out, being very emotionally mature, knowing how to handle your own feelings and your emotions, listening to them, getting information from them, understanding, you know, where they're coming from and what's going on, maybe not being ruled by them and certainly not suppressing them, but not trying to control them and not being controlled by them, but integrating them into all of your decisions and the way you handle things. So but this person was able to handle things very well, very maturely, was very even-keeled throughout things, just exactly who you want in a crisis. So this was either someone you've known and dealt with, or an energy that you've become familiar with, or even yourself. Surprisingly enough, Taurus might have had some, I'm just kidding. Taurus might have had some moments of strong emotional maturity, of really leveling up emotionally and really being able to handle some of the things that have been thrown at you. So you could be coming from a place of strong emotional maturity. And your current situation involves Three of Cups. This is a really beautiful, I love, this is possibly one of my favorite Three of Cups cards ever. It's this friend cup. It's a circle of friends sharing their hopes, their fears, their joys. There might be one ringleader, but everybody's part of the group. Everybody's together, having a good time. I mean, I do feel like it is this sort of dance with life card, you know, this hula dancing or hula hooping, having a good time with people we connect with, sharing hopes and fears and joys and sorrows and all of that, sharing it all together. So this talks about friendship, a nice, beautiful, beautiful friendship, beautiful circle of friends here. Not a clique, of course, because cliques have power dynamics involved in them, and ins and outs and all of that. This is just a circle of friends, good people. Maybe it is a clique. What do I know? Could be referencing a clique of some sort. Could be, because there's a circle that's been drawn and there are people outside that circle, although we don't see them, and there are people inside the circle. So it could be a little cliquish. Could just be a group of friends that hang out together and don't necessarily, it's not about who's in and who's out. It's about who we enjoy and who showed up, who showed up that day. So, then we have in your hopes and fears and inner landscape, we have 8 of Wands. This is communication. You're thinking, hoping for more communication, for lots of communication, open communication. I love how these are all open umbrellas, like open communication, fast moving. You're hoping something might come together very quickly, very easily. This could also be just physical movement too. But you could be hoping for that. You might be worried about some communication, some fast-moving communication. Could be gossip, I guess. You might be worried about gossip within this group of friends or something like that. Because gossip would be like flies like the wind. So there's something about communication here that you're hoping for or afraid of. And then in your... what's that issue here? We have the Hermit card reversed. So this is about not being alone. Maybe you need to be alone, or you feel like it, and there's just a lot of people around. But this is you haven't taken the time out. You're not alone right now. You haven't taken time out. Maybe this group of friends or all these people are, you know, crowding out your own sense of your own North Star This would, in the upright, we'd be talking about, you know, paying very close attention to our own North Star, paying close attention to our next steps, and what lights us up as an individual, and ignoring, you know, the other people's opinions, other people's shoulds, other people's ideas of what we should be doing, visions that have been foisted on us. So with the Hermit in reverse, you could be experiencing like extreme isolation and really getting sick of it, and it's long past its point of usefulness. You no longer need to be you know, this introspective anymore. We do not need this level of introspection. We do not need, you know, maybe feeling very lonely, maybe feeling, oh man, if you're really lonely, of course you're thinking about this Eight of Wands. You're dying for some communication here. But this could also be not you know, it's the Hermit card. It's the Hermit card gone wrong. So it's either way too much alone time and isolation, and it's not healthy anymore. That's the main reading I'm getting here. But it could also be, you know, not having taken time out, relying on other people's opinions too much or more than that you could. And that's supported by this what lights you up. So in the upright, we'd be talking about what lights you up. What are your next steps? Very individual, unique path, and paying close attention to that. But in the reverse, we could be getting, you're not paying very much attention to your own inner light. This group and this communication could all be very distracting, could all be pushing you away from your own unique path, distracting you from it. So you will know, I think, which side of this Hermit card your situation is falling on, if you've been overly isolated and dying for some communication, or if you've maybe gotten into a group of friends and their opinions have become more important than your own, or more important, and they're trying to peer pressure you into, that's a term from my youth, peer pressure you into getting off of your own norths, the path of your own heart, your own truest self, and distracting you from that. In your, what's in your environment, we have this Ten of Pentacles card. So we have, this is about family, money. This is what's interesting is break the chain. I always think of this as ancestors and ancestral patterns. Yeah. So we have in your current situation, something that really resonates with that ancestral patterns message. We have, it's a 10. So it's the point of some sort of physical thing where we've come to the end. This is now the end of, you know, the workday, the end of this job. This has produced with this cut down tree here. I see that the situation has produced as much as it possibly can produce, money-wise or success-wise, or something here that's physically coming to an end. It will not be producing anymore. It will not be creating anymore. We also see here possible issues around family money. Inheritance could be going on, inheritance issues, or by that I just mean either inheritance or issues around inheritance. There can be a lot about family money here, and family inheritances, I think, of both money and of values. I think of this as, you know, this is like a family of origin card, so to speak. So there is something here always about like, what are those issues that you've inherited? So, but being in Pentacles, it can definitely have like a money or an actual physical situation that's come to an end, and the fruits of those labors have been sort of set in a way, whether you have them in hand or not. They exist, they are there, and they are, and they will not be continuing to grow or contribute to your life. So what do I mean by that? The trust fund is not going to keep growing, or that money, what's there is there, and more will not be squeezed out of the situation. So in your to-do list, your area of greatest growth, the energy you're looking to interact with, is the World card. This is really an interesting card in your to-do list, because obviously you cannot control the orbits, the axial tilt, the movement of the planets. The World card talks to me about submission to the larger plan, because there's not a lot to be done with the World card. It is just like, this is just going to play out the way it's going to play out. This is about understanding your place in history, your place on this, you know, history and life, this giant ocean that's moving all by itself, and you're a little boat, and you can sometimes control what goes on in your little boat, but we're all in this sort of like economic history and weather and orbit. So the World card talks to me about all those really big movements through life that are beyond our control, and something to submit to or accept or surrender to. Not submit, but surrender. I think that's the word I was looking for. Surrendering to that larger movements. The World card is also the final card in the deck, so it is an ending card. I mean, not that in the major arcana, it's the last card. So it does talk about major endings, but again, I feel like this is a surrender card to a big ending, allowing something to come to an end. I mean, the Ten of Pentacles is also an ending card. So allowing something to play out, to go its course, to play its course. Man, where are my words right now? To play out, allowing something to play out. That's all I'm seeing. And in whatever way it's going to. With this Three of Cups and this Eight of Wands possibly being a fear, I see, like, if we're dealing with some sort of like, if we are dealing with like a gossip situation, one of the only things I've ever figured out to do with that is let it play out. It's nice. It cleans out your friend group really nicely. People that want to believe bad shit about you believed it without even asking your side. And you know, and then people that ask your side, you get to tell them, and then you get to respect them because they did that. They took the time to do that and find out what else might be going on, and didn't just believe the first story they heard. So that may not be going on for all of you, but if it is, just letting something play out, letting something run its course. Why was that hard for me to come up with? Run its course, letting something run its course, and maybe just changing up your own energy, just thinking about what makes you happy. And maybe you can work with this energy as you understand it more and more. Again, we've got this dominance card here and this breaking the chain, or doing something different. That's going to bring some healing here, changing up how you deal with something or how you interact with a certain energy or a certain situation. And then we have where you're possibly going is Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, I really love this card. It is a card of negotiation. It's a card of precarious balance. It's a card, to me, it's a juggling. It's things that we have this infinity card. So infinity sign here. So to me, this card is about things that are never quite blended, but always need to be juggled. And each thing needs to be paid attention to, focused on, be present with each thing, and then released so that you can take the next thing on your plate. So it is having a lot on your plate, needing to juggle things, or even needing to negotiate things. But it is a little precarious. It's a little difficult. It's quite difficult. You might be sweating buckets as you try to juggle all of this. But you can manage it. That's the other thing. Two of Pentacles is you can manage it. So when I'm thinking of the Pentacles and I'm thinking about the Kabbalah tree of life, sort of pinball machine that these energies go through, we've got the initial idea of something coming into reality, right? The Ace of Pentacles. And then the Two of Pentacles is trying to figure out how you're going to balance this new thing with the old things. And this new thing that came in, how are you going to juggle that? Because it's added to now your plate. We all love these new beginnings and these new things, but once they do come in, how do we juggle that? How do we integrate that into our life? And at the beginning, it can be incredibly difficult to, all right, now I have, you know, a baby and my job. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? Or now I have, you know, this obligation and this obligation. What? And it can take a bit for you to figure out how to juggle that. But these are two things that generally don't necessarily blend perfectly, like a baby and a job are not going to blend perfectly. So they're just always now you have two things that you need to juggle. A little precarious. So you're going to have a lot on your plate coming up here, juggling that. Whatever, I feel like something here is a bit of a distraction or something, and letting it run its course, and not you're already going to be having a lot on your plate here. So not taking too much on and letting something run its course and play out in the way it will, and sort of surrendering to whatever is going to happen. I see this King of Cups here as just like staying here in this energy and letting something play out. I mean, you're gaining insight, maybe changing the way you deal with something, and gaining insight there. All right, Taurus, I hope that that was helpful for you, and I hope you have a wonderful week.